Hi. I have never made a video like this before, but many trans loves have been reaching out to me to ask me about my experience with my voice shifting. Behold, my lush baritone tones. And I so appreciate those who shared their experience with me before I went on this particular ride. And so I want to share forth in case this is helpful to anybody else. And in short, I had feared that my voice changing would feel more like a loss to be grieved. And I find that it is so much more like a gorgeous transformation to be nurtured and tended. And change is tender, of course, uh, but I happen to find this change so welcome. I've always known I was a cello, and I know every body, every voice is so different. And also, um, I really wanted to go on T for several years before I finally chose to, about 8.5 months ago. And the main hesitation that I had was tenderness and fear around my voice changing. My voice has long been the part of me that I love the most. I really believe in both speaking and singing. And beyond that, it's also the access point for me, the most easeful access point for prayer and connection to God and spirit. And um, change in that feels and felt like really scary big deal. And I sat with both my desire and my fears for several years, and a couple things that tipped me over into it being the right time for me to try were just falling in love with so many more voices who had changed later on in life with testosterone, and um, also I have been realizing that for the past 10 years in teaching and coaching voice, I've been developing a whole set of tools, somatic and intuitive listening tools that are exactly the tools that I needed to accompany myself. And so I got to a point where I was like, I trust that I I've cultivated the listening that I need here. And this wonderful doctor that I got to see in the Bay assured me that it's so possible to stop and start, to recalibrate dose. Turns out I started and my body was in such fuck yes to everything that I upped my dose almost right away. And vocally, I did feel some shift pretty soon. And so I got to kind of check out what a little shift felt like before continuing on to more. And for me, I would record myself singing some of my favorite songs every new moon. And I really made a point to sing songs that I had always wanted to be able to sing, but couldn't quite. And for me, that's the whole score of Jesus Christ Superstar. And so I would rock out all the Jesus and Judas songs every moon, starting with not like it was a real reach. And now, ooh, I I can really really do it in a way that I've kind of always dreamed of. And I also would sing this song "Come Healing" by Leonard Cohen, which is my favorite song in the world and one that I've sung maybe thousands of times. And I would just record myself singing it wherever my voice wanted to start it that moon. And I found for the first 5 months, the first 5 moons, um, it would drop a half step, just a little bit each month. And that was mirrored in just gradual dropping of my speaking voice. But I really didn't lose anything. I still had everything up high that I always had. I could wail on Joni Mitchell, but um, but where my home base felt was just gradually shifting a little bit. And then for me, after about 5 months, this whole basement, including like E below the bass clef, it feels so yummy, was available to me, but it felt more like a playground that I could hop to. It didn't feel like home. Um, and around that period, my voice started cracking sometimes, which I find kind of fun, knowing that it won't be forever. And the first word that my voice cracked on was when I was saying the word grinder, and my voice cracked, which I love. And and so I was pretty much feeling still speaking and singing around the same place that I had always considered home until this past new moon in December, where I was doing a lot of spellcasting and work around release, unclench, and at a certain point I opened my mouth to speak, and it went from like do, 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 to down here where I am right now. And without forcing or pushing, it just, there was this settling, this dropping, and it feels so luscious in my body and so tender and so new. And I am navigating not being able to sing or speak where I was used to speaking. And I'm navigating when I try, my voice cracking and going way up, and finding this cool, super high falsetto that that is new. It is also new. And so I'm still right in it, this shift. And it is a little bit tender, but it's mostly really, really exciting. And I actually don't feel a loss. I've been experimenting with a lot of songs that I song lead in community. And um, I had the honor of singing at a memorial service on Zoom a couple weeks ago, and I got to sing Annie Zylstra's Blessed Motion. I believed in solid ground. Well, it's hard not to finish it, but and where typically, even at something as high stakes as a memorial service, I could just show up and let the spirit flow and open my mouth to sing, and it would be in the right place. Um, for this, I couldn't. It just feels like new territory, the territory that I'm navigating. But I wondered, like, would I be able to feel heart connected to singing in a different place? And what I found, I just practiced beforehand, and I found where I wanted to start, which ended up felt yummiest and most honest, actually, like even lower than I would have expected it to. And I made sure to like pick my starting note. But I did feel really present and heart connected, even in this new territory. It's just taking some attention and some tending. And I can really feel how I can imagine months from now or a year from now, it may not take that extra attention. I'm just kind of newly making friends with it. And another fear I had, and um, something that other folks had expressed to me, was a difference in where they feel power in their voice, being used to feeling power in a certain way. And it's true, I can't right now access power where I used to. I may be able to again. But I'm finding it's like my whole body and voice is just experiencing like letting power flow differently. And but I wouldn't say less. Like often when I record myself, it almost sounds a little bit pushed, um, where I guess it's that I'm able to access power and vocal power just with a little more ease. It actually doesn't need as much energy behind it to get the same amount of power and flow. So I think I'm just getting used to that. And it's been delightful to sing with friends and find like, oh, my voice is sitting just in a different place, or somewhere where I might have sung along with somebody on the melody, then I pick a lower harmony. And so for me, that's all been pretty joyful. And again, I know that not everyone has had a joyful ride with this, and we'll see. I'll check back in a couple of months. But I guess I just would like to say to anyone out there who's considering this, but hesitating for vocal reasons, that like it's so possible to go at your own pace to see how it's feeling, to feel into it. And um, I hope this was helpful. And if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out.